Welcome. We are going to do the chapter 2 of Microsoft Word 2013. After running the program and writing some paragraph and text, you may need to do something called check spelling. So you make sure from that your word that do not have any issues, or you don't have a grammar error or a spelling error. Now, whenever you see a wavy underline under the word in the red color, now this is an issue. We have red, green, and blue. Whenever you have red, that means this is a spelling error. Whenever you have blue, it's a grammar error. Whenever you have green, this is a format error. So for example, I'm going to write an incorrect spelling word of, date. Didn't take it. Let me make sure. So we want to check if our spelling is correct. So we will go to review, spelling and grammar, and check. Now it give us an incorrect information. See, you need to go to review, click on review, and spelling and grammar, and activate it. Now when it will check the document, it will open something called the pan of the spelling pan, which will give you some suggestion of what you can write in these, or what is similar to this word. You may click on whatever you want and you can say change, or you may ignore it, ignore all if you repeat it in multiple times in the document, or you may add it to the dictionary. As well, you can right click on the red line, will give you an suggestions that the correct suggestion. So this is that. So if you have a red wavy underline, this is spelling. If you have a green, this is formatting, and if you have a blue one, which this is the grammar error. For example, cannot is a grammar error. So you need to check it. It will give you a wavy underline in the color blue. So when you right click on it, it will give you the correct grammar for it. Okay, itself, then itself sometimes considered incorrect. Okay, so you may use the spelling and go to review and spelling and grammar, and now you will have the system checking for the grammar and spelling errors. Then we have something called threshers. The threshers is they will give you a meanings of the same word. Let me say threshers, and now I want to search for threshers. For example, stopping, and it will give me cannot find. Good. Let me say no. I have something, a lot of suggestions for the threshers and the meaning of it, and I can choose any one that I want to choose it, and I insert it to the paragraph. Okay, so for example, finish or terminate give us suggestions about it, and I can click on the small arrow of finish, for example, where is it, and click on the small arrow and copy or insert it, and you will have it by threshers. Now this is a grammar error because this is the first word in the paragraph, which need to be an E capital. This is the threshers. Then we have something called, if we want to view two documents side by side. Let me say we have another document, which is document 2. And I decided to view side to side these two documents to compare. So I will go to view and I will click on side by side. Where is that? In Windows, view side by side. Now I'm viewing side by side of my the two documents. So I will go to view, and in the window group I have side to side, where I can check. I can do the same thing of whatever I'm doing and go back to my document. Sometimes we will need to have breaks in our pages. So, for example, you wrote a paragraph and you want to stop and start a new page, which we call it page break. So we can go to page layout, breaks, and insert page break. Now we have 2 pages in our document. Now, not 2 documents, it's 2 pages in one document. Okay? Now we went to page layout, breaks, and page. We break it out with a page. Now, rather doing all these steps, going to the page layout, choosing the breaks and the page setup, you can simply hold the control and press enter at the same time. Now you will have the same page break again popping up. Now, when you have a huge text, a huge document with multiple text, you may need to search for something, to search for a word maybe. So you go to home, and from home you can click on find to activate the navigation for the find. You may type anything you like over here and you will get it in the result. Now if you click on pages, you will see the number of pages. Now if you write something over here, it will show up the pages that containing this information or the term that you are searching. We will learn in a couple of days from now the headings. So if we are searching for a headings, we just click on headings and now we will have headings in our navigation. In order to replace a text, you can click on Home tab, go to the editing group and click on Replace to replace a text. You can find anything and write the new replacement, and you say replace all or replace one by one. Now you will replace your text. Simply we can activate the both, not going to the Home tab and editing, but simply by holding the control and pressing F at the same time to find something. As well, we can hold the control and press H at the same time, so we can go to the replace. We have something also come out always with the find and replace, something called go to, where I can select the page and I say I want to go page number 3, and I say go to, and now I'm in page number 3. Now sometimes you may need to add a day and time to the header. So first we need to activate the header. We can simply double click in the location of the header. We will come to it at the end of this chapter when we will talk about the margins, but it's typically the top and the bottom of the page where you can see, do you see this area, the gray one? This is where the header will be at at the bottom as well. This is the footer. So we may double click on it to activate it, or we can go to insert, and from insert we can click on header, and we will have the built-in option, or I just click on edit header, and now I have my header available. I can click over here. I will have something called header and footer tools. Over there I will find something called date and time. I can click over there. It will give me an idea how it will insert the date. So I can say Sunday, October the 4th, 2015, which is today's date. I can automatically update it whenever I will open this document after I save it, or without updating it. So let me say I want to update it. I will click OK. I will have it. Now I will close the header. If I save this document and I check it tomorrow, I will see this switch to Monday, October the 5th, 2015. Okay, that's why they call it automatic update date and time. Now sometimes we need to work with stops. We call it tab stops. We can work with stops by activating it, and we say, hey, I want to stop over here, I want to stop over here, and so on. So this is the center stop, this is the right stop, this is the left stop, this is the decimal stop, sorry, this is the bar stop, and this is the right stop. Now I can do it rather keeping clicking and trying to find my stop. I can choose to go to the paragraph group, which is located in two locations. The paragraph group, which is located in the home, the paragraph group, home paragraph, as well in page layout, and we have paragraph. So this is the same, just two locations of the paragraph. We can click on the paragraph group, and I will have something at the bottom called tabs. I can say, hey, I want my tab to be 4.0 4 inches. Okay, I need to name it. I want it to have a dots. I want it to have it to the right, the alignment of it, and I will say set, and I will say okay. So whenever I will tap, press on the tab on my keyboard, now I have the tab stop popping up. I can choose any tab I would like. I can put it 0.5, I can put it 1, I can put it any number until the page width, which is the maximum of the page, is 8.5, not counting the margins. We will come to the margin. Okay, here the margin is I think 2. It's 1 from each inch, from each side. Now we add the tabs. We work with tabs. Sometimes whenever you are working with something, especially when you are doing your academic paper, and the instructor will say this word, I want, for example, if you are working on APA, the instructor will come to you and he said, I wanted an APA format, which is the font type is Times New Roman, the font size 12, and double spaced. Now when he say double space for your paragraph, there are locations where you can do a double space. You can go to the paragraph group and you will find the spacing for the lines. We have two types of spacing. We have line spacing and we have a paragraph spacing. We need to make sure what we are doing. So when he say double space for the line, one is the normal, this is double space to put it on the 2. Now our writing will be double spaced. So we have a multiple spacing options, but if you are doing an APA or MLA, you will have double space. So you need to go to the home, click on the paragraph group on the spacing, and you choose 2. This is the line spacing. Sometimes you are writing something and you want to highlight it, just like a marker, the highlighted marker. We can do by going to the home, the font group, and we will see the highlight, and we have different colors that we can highlight with, and you can highlight the word, like let me write my name, and I will highlight my name. I already choose the highlight, and I say, hey, I want to highlight this name. Now I highlight it. I didn't change the color, I highlighted. It's not a fill, this is not a background, this is highlight. Sometimes when you're writing, you need to use the font to be bold, so we can select whatever we want to bold it, or we can click on the board before we start writing. I can make it bold, I can make it italic, or have it underlined. I can do the same by holding the control, pressing B for bold, I for italic, and underline for new for underline. As well, we have strike through, which is pressing on strike through to have a line on the text. I may have a subscript or superscript. Click here to have it different. Okay. I may want to apply my format on my other text that I have it. Rather selecting the text and doing all the action again, I can select my text, I can put my cursor on it and say format painter, which is located in the home tab in the clipboard group. I can click over there and I can highlight the new text that I want to apply my format to, and I will paint the format. Now sometimes while you are typing, you may need to create bullets in your list, you may need to create numbers, and you may create a multi-level numbers. So I'm going through these at once. So for example, we have item 1, item 2, and item 3. I want to have bullets before them. I highlight them. I will click on the bullets located in the paragraph group. I click over there. Now I have bullets. Now why I have a line in the middle? Because my writing is double spaced. Okay, so I will have bullets, and I can apply different type of bullets. I can click on this arrow so I can see the bullets available for me, or I can define a new bullets. When I can define a new bullets, when I click on define a new bullets, I need to choose what type of bullets. For example, this is a simple I want to choose, and I want to choose any kind of bullet, and I can choose it, and I have it. After that, I may need to have numbers. I may insert numbers to my items rather on bullets. I highlight the text and I click on numbers. Now I have these numbers. Maybe I need to have different type of numbers. I can choose whatever numbers or letters I can choose, or I can define new numbers format. Sometimes I have a multiple option under the same item. For example, I have point 1, point 2, and point 3. Point 1 has sub point 1, sub 1, and sub 2, and sub 3. As well, point 2 have sub 1 and sub 2. And so on. For example, now when I applied my numbers, you can see it's from 1 to 11, but I have sub points that I want to include it. So I can highlight my points and my sub points, and I can activate something called multi-level lists. I can click over there and activate the multi-level list. Now I did activate the multi-level list. Let me highlight it all, activate it all. Now when I activated my multi-level, I can highlight the levels I want, and I will increase and or decrease the indent. So I will increase the indent over here. This is a different type of level. I can highlight my subs and increase my level as well. I don't like this numbering. I can choose it, and I can say, hey, I want it like this. No, go back. I want it like this. So I did change the type of my numbers, and I have multi-level numbers. While you are working on like multiple pages document, you may need to insert something called property control. Now, for example, you're doing document for your company, and you always repeat the same name of the company again and again and again and again. Rather typing it always, you may need to insert something called property control, which will help you to, if you set it, to not type it again always. So we need to go to the Insert tab, and from the Insert tab, I can go to the quick parts. The quick parts will include something called document property. In the document property, I can say company, for example, and I will type the name of the company that I'm working for, or I will do my paper for. So when I go back and I will say company, I need to have it set to be again to be included again to the same document. For example, I can come here, I will say, hey, I want quick parts, I want the company again over here, and it did show up as part of the text of the line. And rather typing the name of the company again and again, you can add something called property control. Working with shapes, sometimes we need to work with something called shapes. Okay, now we have it over here. Let me delete everything. We can go to Insert. There are a group called Illustration. We can choose a shape from it. For example, I will choose the happy face. I will click on the smiley face, and I will drag, and don't leave until you see the way that you want it. Now remember to hold the shift so you can keep the dimension, the exact dimension for the shape. Otherwise it will be like squeezed or stretched. So hold the shift and then leave. Now you have the shape. Now when you have a shape, you have something called drawing tools format, where you have the ability to play around with the shape. Now you can apply different type of styles to your shape, not the same that you have it right now. You can choose this one, or if you like, you can specify the fill that you will like it and the outline that you wanted. Okay? And you may have it like a sad face or a smiley face based on what you like. Remember also, you have a lot of other options. From these options, you have something called arrange, where you can change the location of your shape. An important thing that you need to do is to tell the shape how to deal with the text near from it. So you may have it, and we call it text warping or wrapping. You may have it as tight, through, top and bottom. You may have it behind the text, in front of the text, or you may have it tight or squared, and based on what you like. You need to specify the shape that you are working with and with the text around it. Sometimes you have shapes that let me draw another shape. Let me have what, star? Let me find another thing. Okay, I have this. I can change based on what I like. Let me say I choose this one. I like blue. Now I choose this star and I decided to write inside it. So I have the ability to draw a text inside it and write whatever I like. When I'm done, I can have it like behind, through. Okay, I can choose whatever I like with the text. Also, I have multiple options with the text. I can draw it, I can draw the text, or I can say select it and say test. Now I will have based on what my style look like. I have two types of ways. I can draw a box if I want to, or I can click on it and say smile or happy. Okay, so this is how I can add the text to my shape. Let me remove them. You may add a space before the paragraph or after the paragraph, or you may remove the space after the paragraph. How you can do it? You can go to the home tab, and on the paragraph group you can click on the list on the spacing, and you can add space before the paragraph or remove the space after the paragraph. So you may add space before and after. Also, you may play around the paragraph before and after by going to the page layout, paragraph group, and you have the spacing before and after from here as well. Now when you insert, we learned last class or last course how to work with, let me find an image. This is a picture. We learned in chapter 1 how to work with the pictures. Now we will apply some kind of styles to it. When I have a picture, I will have picture tools format, and I can choose how the picture will look like from the quick format I have it, and I can apply it to my text, and I can have it nice and unique. So I can click on the picture, and from the picture format I can go to the picture styles and click more. Sometimes I need more breaks rather the page, might be a section break or another type of break. So I will go to the same location. I will click on the page layout and click on breaks, and I will see different type of breaks. If I'm writing into 2 columns, I can choose my breaks. If it's continuous or add an even, I can work it based on what I like. So I can choose, for example, section break of the next page, and or say continuous breaks, and so on. I have multiple option of breaks. Now, when we are working with Word, we need to tell the Word what's the margin of our work. For example, if you are doing an APA, you will be required to have 1 inch from each side. So we click on page layout, and on the page setup group, I have something called margin. I can click over there. I can see my my default one, which is the normal, which 1 inch from each side, the narrow, which is ½ inch from each side, and I can customize my margins to tell Word how I want to set up my page. This is 1 inch from each side. I can change from here and change the orientation. I click OK, and that's it. Everything has been changed. This is the margins. Sometimes we need to add borders to our page, so we will go to the design tab, click on the design, then we have something called in the page background, we have something called page borders. We click on it and we can choose how the look of the borders. Maybe it will be art, okay, like this, or it will be not an art, it's just to be lines and to be green, for example, and to be 1 and point something. Now I change it, so I can choose how my borders will look like. Sometimes you will be required to check your document if it will work with the previous type or version of Word. So we will go to the file, and from the file I can click on inspect document, and I will say check capability to see if my my document will work with Word 97 to 2003, 2007, or 2010. Okay, I can choose how I want it. If I have a problem, it will tell me. Sometimes I need to check my document for more things, so I will click on info, then I will click on inspect document, and I will say inspect document, and I need to say yes, and it will need to save it, and it will check it for a lot of information. Okay, it will tell me what's my problem showing up. Finally, for this chapter, we are going to do envelopes. Rather writing everything by hand, you may need to print out on an envelope. So you will go on a tab called mailing. We click over there, and we will see something called envelope. We click on the envelope, and we will have the delivery option address and the delivery option return mail. So I can type the address I would like to send my papers to: 123 XYZ Boulevard in Jacksonville, Florida 32246, and I can say, hey, send it back. If didn't get it, send it to this address, which is the return address, and I can choose 123. That's okay. 132 XYZ Boulevard, and then choose everything, and I will say print. Now I need to have an envelope in my printer to feed it into the printer to print out the envelope. See you in the upcoming course. or a chapter for Microsoft Word.